Hi everyone, this is my third video of learning Python. As you could see on the title of this video, this will be about comments. But before we begin, on my last video, I told you that the file extension .py is for my use only. But I forgot to add that adding the file extension will help your text editor if this text editor has a capability of basic IDE like the VI and Notepad++. And since I mentioned IDE, yes, this will also help the IDE to understand what you are trying to do. So by supplying the file extension, the IDE can provide you or help you with the correct syntax highlighting and as well as proper debugging. I'll show you a quick example of what I meant by that. So first, I will create two files, one without the .py extension and the other one with that .py extension. So what I'm going to do first is to set up or open a TMOC session. The reason for this is in order for me to show you properly the difference between the two files. So on my left screen, I will try to open a file or create a file without the .py extension and try to make a simple program like this one. And this is a comment and print hello world. Like I said on my previous video, even if you don't have the .py extension, you can still run the file as long as you use Python 3 on it. But what I'm trying to say here is the purpose of adding or why it's good to add the .py extension. So I'm going on the right side. I'm going to create a file with the .py extension. So just by doing this, you should be able to see now why it is good to add the .py extension and why it helps the IDE in order to understand what you are doing. So as you can see, by adding the .py extension, the VI understands that I'm trying to do Python and helps me do the syntax highlighting. And the syntax highlighting is just one of the things that supplying a file extension would do. So yes, that's it. And I'll now go what really is the purpose of this video. For this video, what I'll be discussing is about comments. If you've been doing programming, you should already know about this. If not, comment is a programmer's way of explaining how a certain part of their code or the source code as a whole works. So an example of comments in other programming languages are these. This is treated as a comment in other programming languages, same as this one. Same as this one. This one is used, I believe, in PHP, JavaScript, and I'm not sure if this is used also in C# and Java. But this one is used to do a multi-line comment on other programming languages like this one. All those things between those forward slash and asterisk and then asterisk and forward slash, between those two are considered a comment. And this one is a comment in, I think, in HTML. Anything between this and this is considered a comment. But since we're using Python, we use pound sign or number sign for a single line comment and 3 double quotes for a multi-line comment. I will show you quickly what I meant by that, or an example by that. So if I put something here, Python will treat this one as a comment. No matter how gibberish I put it in here, this will not be processed or interpreted by the Python interpreter. And then the other one is a multi-line comment. Anything between these three double quotes are considered a comment. So even I put like this, date when anything or any gibberish I put here will not be treated or will not cause any error on my program. This is for the reason that the Python or the interpreter understands that comment should not be processed or interpreted as part of the code. So if I try to add a code, a normal one, this one, the only one will be printed here is the actually this of the comment. So the only part of this will be printed on by the Python interpreter is the last one. As you can see, that's how usually the comments work. So next thing I want to add is when to use a comment. So basically a comment should be used only to describe what is the purpose of that function or a part of code you added to help the next developer or the one looking at your code to understand properly how it works and the purpose of it. And next thing is when to not use a comment. First, if it's too obvious, you shouldn't add a comment to it. Like for example, this is just an example, okay? You should not do or add comment when if it's obvious. What I meant by that is you should not tell like this one, this line of code asks for first name. As you can see, by adding a comment for that, the comment loses its purpose, and the reason for that is by looking at the code, you can understand easily or distinguish properly what is the use of it. I'm saying this is for the reason that some people that might do it, and I'm just providing a tip so that we could all avoid it. And so next is you should not add comments line by line, rather add comments at the start of the function. Like usually we have a function like this. This is just an example, right? And for example, this one, like this one, and you add a comment here telling that's what's the purpose of this one and what's the purpose of this one. Rather doing that one, or instead of doing that one, you should put the comment at the start of the function and tell exactly what is the purpose of that one. Next is also avoid adding a comment for a single function like a paragraph. Like this function is this, and you put a long comment, which is kinda okay or fine. You explain it properly, but sometimes a quick explanation of how it works are enough. Since developers just a quick idea or knowledge of how it works, the developers or the next developers after you should understand it right away. So yes, I think that's it, and I hope I was able to share something good and wait for my next video, which is about variables. Thank you and bye-bye.